Ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you all. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for coming. This is an extremely important development, we believe. Extremely important. So this is a public-private partnership which aims to make the market function in a much more transparent and better way. There are several features that I'll just mention very briefly, if I may. The patent system, first of all. It's an enormous source of economic intelligence, and we're exploiting that in this instance in order to facilitate procurement of medicines. And we can do so only with an enormous effort on the part of the research-based pharmaceutical industry. The 20 companies that have been brought together by IFPMA in order to, and I wouldn't underestimate the amount of work involved in making these data available, as these 20 companies have, to connect up medicines and patents. Secondly, of course, there is a great deal of work that has been done by WIPO, so I would like to underline our commitment to this initiative. And also to the general pursuit of transparency in relation to innovation and the patent system. This is also something that supports the Sustainable Development Goals. It is entirely in the spirit of the SDGs as a public-private partnership, harnessing the intellectual and financial assets of the private sector in order to pursue public policy purposes, in this instance, good health. I will leave the other details. They're covered in the press release, including how many medicines we're covering initially. This is an ongoing partnership. The extent of help that is going to be made available by the 20 pharmaceutical companies who have been involved so far to procurement agencies. I think it's an extremely important step forward. I will stop at that point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francis. From my side, certainly thanks to our partners from WIPO, because it's really a proud partnership, which I'm pleased that we can push the button next week on the data bank. And I know that Francis Gurry's team from WIPO has put tremendous efforts in it, and also I would like to thank my team, in particular Guillaume Sintra, who is here. I mention his name because if you have too many technical details, I will certainly refer to either Tom Bombellis or Guillaume to respond to them. If we look back 50 years ago, when IFPMA was founded on June 7, 1968. Today, the world is a much better place than it was 50 years ago. We've seen dramatic improvements in health treatment, but we also know that a lot needs to be done. And when I looked at the declaration for the high-level NCD meeting, which is likely to come up next week and be endorsed, I think there's a common agreement that member states and international organizations and the private sector are not yet where we want to be. And in this context, of course, progress in making patents more transparent is an important step. We all know that there's a lot of complexity in the patent system. That's why it's often misunderstood. Personally, I strongly believe that patent-informed, as Francis Gurry said, is a major step forward, shows the sort of practical action that can be taken to help to reduce the complexity surrounding patent information. This is not a solution looking for a problem, but it's really a solution to a problem. Because for some time, experts have called for improving procurement efficiencies. And although everything we are talking about and everything which will be in the data bank is publicly available information, I think you need to be pretty much a sophisticated expert to be able to find it. And the difficulty of finding reliable patent information and getting in contact with the right person in the companies holding the patents is one of the most common feedbacks in terms of where people are asking for improvement. And that's why over the last few years there have been discussions within the companies about how can we overcome this. And the initiative now clearly links public patent information to registered medicines in a new, user-friendly online gateway. And I'm so pleased and grateful to WIPO that they not only host this initiative, but really have put tremendous amount of work into making it operational since we signed the memorandum last year, about a year ago, where we agreed to do this. The purpose is really to help health agencies responsible for procuring medicines to assess the patent status of medicines in different countries. And since we have begun testing the platform, we have received positive reactions that this will really speed up the overall procurement process, ultimately benefiting patients. Therefore, it is not just a question about getting some data which are utterly complex. It is very practical to allow them to be more efficient in procurement, and we had a reaction from one of these agencies testing it, that they said it increased the speed of procurement by 30%, which in their case means that many more patients will get medicines faster. To be honest, and I've been frequently updated by Guilherme on progress, I think it was a heavier lift for everybody involved than we all assumed it would be a year ago. I heard this from many companies. I heard it from WIPO and from our people, because although the information is publicly available, to bring it into a format which is user-friendly, which is common, which is using the Orange Book standard, that required a commitment, required a lot of work. PAT-Informed so far covers 6 therapeutic areas and the WHO's essential medicines list. In the future, I'm sure there will be many more. Task of retrieving and uploading the data of over 14,000 individual national patents has been considerable, but I'm confident that in time we will continue to work to make the database an even better tool. I'm confident that we will see more companies join the effort. It is open, which means it will also be open, for instance, for generic companies to participate in there. And it is, I think, an honor for me that WIPO has agreed to be a strategic and operational partner in this endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll just show you quickly a 2-minute video, and then we can take your questions.
The Patent Information Initiative for Medicines, or PAT-Informed, is a new online tool that facilitates access to information on key patents on medicines around the world. PAT-Informed has been developed by the World Intellectual Property Organization and the International Federation of Pharmaceutical Manufacturers and Associations, IFPMA, to help health officials around the world better understand the legal status of these medicines and facilitate the procurement process. This new search engine, database and communication portal initially covers HIV and AIDS, oncology, diabetes, cardiovascular, hepatitis C, respiratory, plus any other patented medicines on the World Health Organization's Essential Medicines list. Let's see how PAT-Informed works. Anyone can access the website as no registration is required. Then it's as easy as typing in the international generic name, INN, of the medicine you are searching for. If the medicine is marketed or registered by one of the participating companies, is in one of the therapeutic areas, and is patented somewhere, the following information will appear: the international non-proprietary names, additional country-specific product and patent information, the holder of the patent. PAT-Informed also brings a second step: National procurement agencies may create a secure account and send inquiries to the patent holding company. At the time of the launch, 20 companies were participating in PAT Informed. Participating companies will respond to registered users, making it easier for health officials to obtain information on the medicines they wish to procure.
I'm just using the example of Brazil because in Brazil we have a lot of thousands of patents blocked for the last 15 years. My question is how this initiative could handle with this situation in countries like Brazil, just to get the patent.
Look, I don't think there's a relationship. So this is about information about, where patents are. So I don't think it's going to have any influence on the internal processes of granting patents in individual countries. It's metadata, if you like.
Nina Larson, AFP. Just wondering, so when on this database, is there going to be, I didn't see if there's going to be a price comparison, for instance, if you have generic companies with their products online as well, so that countries will know which products would be less expensive?
It's patent information. It's not price information, but it will make it much easier for procurement agencies to have a deep dive into this data bank and actually get access to whether a product which they want to procure is patented in a given country or not. That's relevant, for instance, in particular where you handle several countries, because you immediately have the comparison around the world, and it is patent information. But procurement agencies, by and large, are pretty good in finding out about competitive prices too.
Kyoto News Agency, can we have the list of the 20 companies?
The ones that have not joined, did they give a reason? Is this a negotiation? Is some commercial secrets that have to be preserved? What is it that there are not only 20 companies in your institution, so obviously others did not accept to join. Thank you.
I think this is a work in progress. I think when I joined IFPMA, we were less than 20 companies, clearly, and I personally talked to a number of them and was able to convince them that this was actually not just a great company initiative, but actually also an initiative which deserved the full backing of the IFPMA Council. That's why it is important, although not every single member is yet in, it is an industry initiative, and we certainly hope that others, realizing that this is well perceived as positive, will join too. I think reasons, a number of them, one which I mentioned is, and I had conversations very honest with some of my friends from the patent departments in big companies. Oh my God, they only realized how much work it was once they really were asked to upload. It is quite a heavy workload. That's why I'm also grateful to WIPO, who helped us there. And that, at the time where you're resource constrained, where you are budget constrained, is not an easy runner. And I think there may have been concerns also in terms of, if we are in there, will we get inappropriate questions? Will we be more exposed or not? That's why I think it's also about confidence building. And I think one of the important elements of the initiative is that the data bank is publicly accessible. which means everybody can get access. But there is, because this is really a tool to help procurement agencies, there is part of the agreement a understanding that procurement agencies can then go to companies and ask questions and clarify questions of details, and companies basically commit, you know, to respond to that. And that, I think that, I'm sure, will over time establish the confidence. We already have discussions in what else needs to be included. We start with the 6 therapeutic areas. Therefore, over time, I'm sure that we will expand in scope. And over time, I'm sure that we will get more companies joining. But it's an important start, and it has the full backing of IFPMA, even of the companies who are not yet part of it.